Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Lakeport City Council meeting for Tuesday, April 1st. It's just wonderful to see everyone here. Thanks for being here. Can we get a roll call, please, Kelly?
Yes. Councilmember Matina,
Here.
Councilmember Price,
Here.
Councilmember Parlett is absent. Pro Tem Disney
Here.
and Mayor Costa.
Here. All right, the first item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. And we have some special guests today who are going to lead the pledge for us. I'm going to introduce them. This is Carrie Bridge. It's the Westport, the West Shore Basketball All-Stars for Lakeport. And they've got a cool story to tell. But Carrie Bridges is one of their coaches. And I just want to tell you about Carrie. So this is like Faces of Lakeport. Carrie is a Lakeport citizen. She attended Terrace Middle School and Clear Lake High School, where she played basketball and winning championships throughout her high school career. She also played at Yuba College and was inducted into the Yuba College Athletic Hall of Fame. Carrie has been the assistant coach for the Clear Lake High School varsity girls team the last 2 years, as well as coaching in the West Shore Youth Basketball League in Lakeport. This year, Carrie coached the first and second grade team to a successful season, and then was asked to coach one of the two first and second grade all-star teams to represent Lakeport in a tournament, playing against who, guys? Who'd you play against?
You can tell us.
County and Mendocino County.
Yep, and then what happened? What happened? They won. And awesome. We're super proud of you. Did you want to say anything else, Carrie, before you guys lead the pledge for us?
Just super proud of these kiddos. They did a great job representing Lakeport. With pride, we had our MVP right here. Do you guys all want to say your names to the group?
No.
Here we go. Ready?
Indiano.
And we had one more that was with us, Little Bear. And Penelope's dad, Augie Perez, who works for probation, he was our assistant coach.
Awesome. Awesome. We're super proud of you and excited that you're here. Thanks for coming. And now I understand you're going to lead the Pledge of Allegiance for us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Woo! Right. Stay there for just a second. We got something for you that we want to pass out to you. So this is a pin of the city of Lakeport for every one of you, because we just thought maybe put it with your medals and just be reminded of just how proud we all of you are of you and how you represented Lakeport. Thank you for that. And then also some stickers. There's like enough for two for each of you. And they have they're all different shapes, but they have the flag on there. So you can remember that you came and led the Pledge of Allegiance for us. You know what? You're the first kid that ever did that. Ever.
Well.
The only one. Check this out, Dawn. This is super cool. I think. I don't know. Yeah, what do you think about that? All right, you can measure all kinds of things. You can go around your house. And we've got a carabiner with a bottle opener on. Like that. A little tag from the public works. So just thank you so much for being here and
Thank you. It was an honor to coach these kids and an honor for you guys to have.
Thank you.
Drop down the floor.
Thank you, guys. All right. Thank you, guys.
Good job, you guys. Yeah.
Best ever.
Thanks for inviting them. They're so cute.
Yeah.
Ah,
Thank you.
this makes us happy. All right, down to the boring business now. So acceptance of the agenda, and any urgency items. Do we have any changes, or urgency items to the agenda?
Yes, we do have two items being deleted and removed from this evening's agenda. After the agenda for this evening was posted, city staff became aware that Councilmember Parlett would not be in attendance. Because he is not in attendance and because two council members are required to recuse themselves from the Parkside final map being considered this evening, we do not have the minimum quorum required to act on that resolution. So that is being moved to next council meeting on the 15th. With that, we would invite folks in the audience who are hoping to speak on this item to please come forward during the general public input moment after the consent agenda. And in addition to that item, we will be removing item F from the consent agenda, application 2025-019, so it can be properly noticed and agendized for the next meeting on the 15th.
Okay, thank you. And that's a good reminder just about public involvement. We're so glad you're here. We love to hear from you. If you're in the room and there's a general comment time when you can speak about anything not on the agenda. And then for each item that we do call, the public is welcome to share comments on that item as well, item by item. So if you're in the room, please come forward to the microphone when you're ready to share. That way we can hear you and record your comments. And also if you're online, just use the raise your hand option and we'll make sure to unmute your microphone so we can hear you. So that said, we're moving on to the consent agenda.
Actually, let's go ahead. I'll make a motion to accept the agenda as amended.
Second that.
We have an emotion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Councilmember Matina, for keeping us on
welcome.
track. I appreciate that. All right, so now we're at the consent agenda, and the following consent agenda items are expected to be routine and non-controversial. They will be acted upon by the council at one time without any discussion. Any council member may request that any item be removed from the consent agenda for discussion under the regular agenda. Removed items will be considered following the consent calendar portion of this agenda. Item A, ordinances. Waive reading except by title of any ordinances under consideration at this meeting for either introduction or passage per Government Code Section 36934. Minutes. Approve the minutes of the City Council regular meeting of March 18, 2024. Item C, approve application 2025-015 with staff recommendations for the Safe RX Youth Summit event. Item D, approve application 2025 with staff recommendations for the 2025 Health and Wellness Expo. Item E, approve application 2025-018 with staff recommendations for the Abuelita Kitchen Street Fair. Item G, records retention schedule, adopt the proposed resolution adopting a records retention schedule and authorizing destruction of certain city records and rescinding resolution number 2943 from 2024. Are there any council members who wish to pull any of the items on the consent agenda outside of item F, which has already been mentioned?
No, I
Okay.
don't.
Are there members of the public who wish to speak on any of the items listed on the consent agenda? Okay, anybody online, Mel?
No hands raised online.
Thank you. All right. So bring it back to council for a motion.
Madam Mayor, if nothing further, I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
One second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Item carries. Hang on. So that puts us to the proclamation this evening.
Public input first.
Thank you. Right over that.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. So we have, this is the time where we can have public input on any item not on the agenda this evening. Is there anybody who came tonight that would like to give a comment for anything not on the agenda, or, as mentioned earlier, who came hoping to speak on the Parkside item that has been removed for another time? Come forward. And if you don't mind, if you could say your name so we know who you are.
Good evening, everybody. I'm John Pitlack. I'm a representative of the Northern California Carpenters Union. I'm currently working out of local 751 in Santa Rosa. I'd like to speak a little bit about the importance of area standard wages and benefits and why they matter for both workers and businesses. Fair wages are essential for both economic stability and worker satisfaction. When wages are in line with area standards, employees are more likely to stay with their employers, leading to lower turnover and increased productivity. It also helps to ensure workers are compensated fairly for their skills and the economic necessities of their location. Wages aren't the only component of fair compensation. Benefits matter too. Health insurance, retirement plans, and vacation are just as important in ensuring an employee's well-being. Just as with wages, benefits should be competitive to meet or exceed area standards to support workers in both their personal lives and professional lives. By maintaining area standards and wages and benefits, we promote income equality. It creates more equitable environment for all employees, ensuring that everyone is fairly treated. In conclusion, area standards and wages and benefits aren't just numbers. They're a reflection of fairness and respect for workers. By ensuring compensation is aligned with area standards, we can create a more balanced and thriving economy for both employees and businesses. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Does anyone else in the room have a comment this evening? Welcome.
Good evening, Council. I'm Michael Froyo, as you all know. I came tonight to speak on the Parkside project. Didn't know that we were going to have it removed, and I didn't know if we're going to have a public comment for the next meeting. Is it going to happen, Kevin?
It will be on the agenda, so you can come speak. On
Okay,
that one, but
on
you can
that
speak-
one.
You can speak. now as
Okay,
well.
I'll get it tonight while I'm here. Is it true that the bridge was removed for an emergency evacuation bridge?
I mean, this time is generally you present your questions and your comments, but we don't necessarily provide responses at this time. I think next meeting would be,
Okay, more
We'll-
appropriate.
And we'll put that down and we'll make sure that it's answered and it's full.
Okay. That was something that I heard. I don't know that it's true, but I thought I'd take the opportunity to ask that tonight. And I hope that that is not an emergency evacuation bridge. I hope that we are going to hold the developer to a permanent bridge. It was my understanding that Chris Westlake promised that last time he was in here speaking. I'm not a fan of this project, as you know. The project is been upgraded to a higher fire severity, and I really feel like at the very minimum that we should have a full use bridge for this project crossing Forbes. It won't be a second access per se, but it will be the start of one. And if we can't get this thing funded now, it's not likely that we're going to get this thing funded in the future. So I hope that we can fund the full bridge. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Good evening, Will DeShock, Madam Mayor, council members, city staff, and to the public. The second Saturday Art Walk is going to be starting this month, April 12th through October. So we're hoping that everyone will come, excuse me, come out to downtown Lakeport on the second Saturday of the month, 4 to 6 p.m. You can come earlier, and we hope you'll stay later and patronize our businesses. City Hall will be open from 4 to 6 so that people will be able to enjoy the artists that we've had on exhibit and that will be up for another month or so. And we want you to also be aware of all the murals that are around the city, downtown area. And there are maps out in the lobby when you leave. Refresh your memory and go out and check them out. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Wilda.
Wilda.
Is there anyone else in the room that would like to comment on something not on tonight's agenda? And Mel, do we have any hands raised online?
No hands raised online.
Okay, so that would seem to close then the public input portion of this hearing for general comments. And now, just check, I was looking at the electronic version and it didn't help me out, so I'm gonna check the paper version, make sure we're on track here. And we do have the proclamation designating April 2025 as Child Abuse Prevention Month. So anyone here who's here for that, and if you would like to step forward, I think we'll organize how we want to do this.
I love the capes.
Yeah,
Very nice.
Yeah,
I think the theme is be a hero, but I think we're gonna get to hear about that.
love it.
So, I can read the proclamation and then we can have discussion. Is that how we'd like to do it? Right.
Thank you.
These are for us.
Here's a-
Thanks, guys.
I'll give that to Kenny.
I love it. This is one organized group here.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Oh, the pins are so cute.
Not you. Chief. Our council meetings aren't usually nearly as fun, so tonight's a good night. Okay, so we're ready. We'll do the proclamation. So this is designated the month of April 2025 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in the city of Lakeport. Whereas approximately 3 million children are reported abused and neglected in the United States each year, and it's estimated that over 1,990 children died from abuse and neglect in a single year. 5 children die every day from child abuse. 66.1% of all child fatalities were younger than 3 years old. 81.8% of child fatalities involve at least one parent. Of the children who died, 76.4% suffered child neglect. Of the children who died, 42.1% suffered physical abuse either exclusively or in combination with other maltreatment type. And whereas child abuse prevention is a community problem, all citizens should become more aware of the effects of child abuse and its prevention, and finding solutions depends on the involvement of people throughout the community. And whereas effective child abuse prevention programs succeed because of partnerships created among social service agencies, schools, religious and civic organizations, law enforcement agencies, the business community, and tribes, and supporting parents in raising their children in safe and nurturing environments. And whereas current local initiatives to prevent child abuse include Lake County Children's Council, and Building Resilient Lake County, a county-wide collaboration that developed a comprehensive prevention plan, ACEs Overcomers, and education on adverse childhood experiences, the Nurturing Families Program, Abriendo Puertas, Positive Indian Parenting, Differential Response, RCS, and LCOE Wraparound Services, Motherwise, LCTH Home Visiting Program, that's Lake County Tribal Health, County of Lake California Home Visiting Program, LFRC Family Empowerment, The Science of the Positive, and so many more. And whereas events being held for the month of April this year are the Pinwheel Garden Challenge, Children's Festival and Advocacy Walk, Children's Memorial Flag, child abuse information will be shared through different media for the month. Other events recognizing April as Child Abuse Prevention will be taking place later throughout the year. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the City Council of the City of Lakeport does hereby designate April 2025 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in the City of Lakeport and calls upon its citizens, community agencies, religious organizations, medical facilities, and businesses to increase their participation in our efforts to prevent child abuse, thereby strengthening the community in which we live. Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. My name's Jamie White. I've been doing this for, I can't even count
A long
now.
time.
A long time. It is going on the year 15. All right. So, and while hearing the statistics that we just heard are very gut-wrenching, that's what we're here to do today, is to try to prevent child abuse. So thank you guys so much for recognizing this awareness. And as you can see, it does take a whole village of people, and it does impact everybody. So April is recognized as National Child Abuse Prevention Month, and that's an annual observance dedicated to raising awareness and preventing child abuse. It aims to raise awareness about the abuse and neglect and promote community efforts to support families and prevent child maltreatment. The theme for this year, the nation's theme, is Powered by Hope and Strengthened by Prevention, and they're emphasizing the importance of proactive efforts to support families, strengthen communities, and ensure all children have the opportunity for a bright future. Here in Lake County, we chose, our theme is to be a hero. And we all have capes because we are all heroes. And we're encouraging all children to be heroes of their own as well. We have the blue pinwheels to symbolize healthy, happy, and full childhoods that all children deserve. And we have many events that are taking place that you mentioned. We of course have the proclamation, thanks to you guys this evening. We had a raising of the flags today, which was a beautiful event. We had two, actually. We had one at Lake Family Resource Center and one down at the probation department in Lower Lake. We will have the ending ceremonies on Friday, the April 25th at the Lake County Sheriff's Office, if anyone would like to join that for the closing ceremonies. We have our two events that will take place on April 12th here at the new park and on April 26th at Austin Park. And we also have placemats up. We had kids every year that draw art, and they're entered into an art contest, and we select only 6 children for this art contest, and their art is put on placemats for the whole month of April at different locations. So Taco Bell in Lakeport is one of them. Where'd my list go? Oh my goodness. Here we go. Judy's Junction, Pogo's in Kelseyville, Grandpa's Cafe in Clear Lake, Barbecue by Biscotti's, Subway's in Clear Lake, and Cabo's. So if you attend any of those restaurants, you will see the placemats there for the entire month. Pretty cool. We get to have an award ceremony for all the kids. I just sent those out today to let the kids know they were winners, and they were stoked, like, yes, we're coming. They're so excited about that. So that's one of my favorite things to do. And the Pinwheel Challenge. Please
make your gardens, submit them to us. We have a contest going on like every year, and it's getting more and more aggressive every year. So we're gonna need some serious pinwheel competitions going on here. So I'm sure there's other people who have something else to say, so I'll pass it on.
We have some child welfare staff here today. I've heard not all heroes wear capes, and we don't have capes, so just go with that. Keith here, one of our emergency response investigators, is going to read a statement in regards to child abuse prevention for child welfare.
Great.
Thank you, Carrie. Lake County Child Welfare Services receives approximately 1,200 reports of abuse and neglect each year. The reports are from all areas of the county, from every jurisdiction. About 70% reports are from child neglect, and substance abuse is almost always involved. Methamphetamines, opiates, fentanyl, ecstasy, and alcohol. These are just some of the drugs that we frequently see affecting the lives of children in our community. Every year, babies are born already impacted by one of these drugs or by a combination of these drugs. They spend their first days or weeks in the hospital neonatal intensive care unit going through withdrawals, and they face a lifetime of potential health challenges and developmental delays resulting from prenatal drug exposure. Domestic violence, physical and sexual abuse, these experiences leave both physical and emotional scars. Lake County's youth need opportunities for healing, and our children's well-being is central to the well-being of our community as a whole. Lake County Child Welfare intervenes with families at the highest risk of abuse and neglect, and partners with family members, tribes, community-based organizations, law enforcement, and government agencies to establish safety and to enact effective prevention programs throughout our county. Lake County Child Welfare is grateful for the commitment and dedication of these partners and respectfully request the ongoing support of your council in addressing the issue of child abuse and neglect in your jurisdiction. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll just add that Jamie mentioned earlier that we have 2 flag raisings that we did today. We also have more flags. So if the city council would like to fly a child's memorial flag, we have that opportunity for you to do so.
Great.
Thank you.
Well,
Can you say no to that?
I have to be careful because I don't know everything. I just like, yes, yes. So
To the city manager.
well, yeah, we'll talk about it. Yeah, you know where the power is. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Is there anyone else who wants to make a statement or speak? Great. Thank you so much. We appreciate you being here. Picture. Okay.
But you got to hold up your pinwheels.
Okay. I'm coming. Figure out. It goes to the original, right?
Give it to Jamie.
Okay. One more? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda, we have a presentation by the Rotary Club, the Lakeport Rotary.
Evening. I'm Pamela Harpster. I'm currently the president of the Lakeport Rotary, or the club, Rotary Club of Lakeport. I'll say it correctly because it changed the way that we supposed to say that some time ago. And I did bring
Oh,
a
man.
presentation. How we doing? We're going to depend on electronics today. We've got this by George. I really want a cape. You know, I'm kind of like feeling a little up here. I don't know. How about you, Eric?
Those are
Get up
cute.
Good
us
with the
too.
cape, Pam.
So
Work
sweet.
well.
I definitely need a cape. So, you know, I'm really excited. Oh, goody, I could even, I'm in charge. I'm excited to actually share some really meaningful things that actually connect our present to our past and also with our future. Lakeport Rotary is actually celebrating our historical milestone of 100 years of service, leadership, and community impact, all from the Rotary Club of Lakeport. Since 1925, our club has been a beacon of service above self. That's been our motto, and it still is, supporting youth programs, local projects, international efforts, and everything in between. As we celebrate this centennial, we also get to look ahead with hope and purpose towards the next 100 years. All right. So this is kind of fun. This is actually the group that organized Rotary back in 1925. And this was actually taken in April. And our first meeting occurred on May 5th of 1995. And the Hotel Lakeport was actually our first meeting place, which is right around the corner from here. So it's pretty cool. So that's what they looked like back then, and this is us today. Some of us, not all of us are in there. That's true. That's true. Even I was not there then. So, you know, the Rotary Club of Lakeport actually has had a great deal of local impact. And I mean, how many people in this room did not ever attend a Easter egg hunt? Either as a child or as an adult, everybody's been impacted. Greg, I know he's been out there picking up those eggs all over the place. So yeah, he's one, definitely. Greg is actually somebody that's conducted many of those, you know, the Pearl Harbor Mass down here. We have amazing, great programs for our youth, scholarships, the top 40 programs. And I'm not going to read this whole list because it'll put you to sleep, but it's actually pretty exciting. We've done a great deal of work with the Clear Lake High School and the West Side Community Park, the fairgrounds, with LARCA. Actually, our club was actually the one that actually co-founded the LARCA program, which is the Lake Area Rotary Club Association, that actually funded lots of money to the fire victims. I think our goal was, you know, a couple of $100,000, and it went into the millions. It was amazing that we're still paying forward and helping those victims from fires. So yeah, it's just been amazing. If you go up to hospice, you can actually check out the memory garden we were part of. You know, even a medical lending library, we've played a part in that. I'm actually in partnership with Kelseyville Rotary Club. We put that together. And most recently actually is our curfew bell. And Brock made me promise not to call it the hoodlum bell, but no, I'm in trouble again. But anyway, it's pretty cool. And so I'm really proud to be a part of this amazing group. But, you know, we've also had a great deal of global impact as well. We've actually reached far beyond its memberships and represents a broad network of community members who have served locally as well as internationally. And I mean, we're talking about friends of Rotary, family members of Rotary, like Wilda here, members of Rotary like you know, like you way over there. We got to get you into a meeting, have lunch with us. And even speakers that are get to come and talk to us like you did to do this tomorrow, aren't you?
On the 30th.
On the 30th. Well, you know, it's just a date. But anyway, good. So the chances are that most everybody in our community has been touched in one way or another locally, but also on the global side. And so here's some of the programs that we've been involved in. You know, we've provided exchange students, hosted students from all around the world. We're involved in many different environmental programs, clean water, medical equipment. As you probably know, polio eradication has just about completely been gone. I mean, we've made a huge impact in our world for polio. So those are just some amazing things that I think we've been involved in. So the reason why I'm actually here to talk to you guys today is because we're going to do some more work on that park out there. I'm super proud of our beautiful Cabatin Park. And so we're planning to put in a time capsule. And so what's going to be going inside, and you can chime in because Denise has actually been kind of chairing this since I've been a little bit absent on this project. But what we're looking at is getting some letters from our students to talk about, you know, what's cool in 2025, what are some of their goals, and how do they see themselves in 25 years when we unearth this time capsule? What are some of those cool slogans and different things? And maybe even write a letter to themselves to be read by themselves in 25 years. We're looking at local businesses and agencies that are actually owned or operated by Rotarians. And so the purpose of that is to actually preserve memories and experiences of today, the past, and hopes for our future. We want to give future generations a meaningful look into our time. So we're actually creating history as we talk. We're actually going to reflect on how far we've come, and it changes over time. And we're going to be opening that up 25 years from now because we all want to be there, right? So I didn't want to set it up 50 years away from now because I might be asleep by then. You never know. This is kind of a new thing that we're still kind of working on, and we're hoping on an incredible artist that has been well known by our community, Shane Grammer. He's done a lot of wonderful art pieces locally, but he's also a sculptist, and I didn't know that, so this is pretty cool. And he's proposing to make pomo baskets, and I'm hoping to get all of the tribes to participate and have a different basket out there close to the time capsule that will represent their tribes. And I love that because it feels to me like the history is emerging. You know what I'm saying? It's like the history is never completely buried underground. It's always here. We're a part of that. We breathe that, and that's who we are. So did you want to talk any more about the time capsule?
No, I think you
Yeah,
covered it.
okay.
I think the thing is that we really wanted it to be a community representation.
Yes.
So that's why we wanted to have the students involved. That's why we have the businesses involved. And we're still working on the details of what exactly is going to go into the time capsule. And very often we look at ourselves and say, well, I've never done this before. I'm kind of figuring it out as we go. But it's really exciting, and we're really proud of Rotary and all the things that we're doing. And this is just another great thing for our community.
Absolutely. Thank you. Awesome. And I want to say also, you know, this is going to be over there, go back a minute. This will be over there by the bell, and working with Ron and Jim, you guys have been amazing. It's like, where do you want us to put it? Where do you want to put it, Pam? I don't know. What can we put here? What do you want to put here? So we're having to figure it out. We're building an airplane while it's in flight. And so we just appreciate our latitude and your guys' grace on that, as you've been able to trust us with this incredible, cool new extension of our initial project. The other thing I wanted to mention is we're also going to be celebrating our 100 years on May 31st, 2025, not 1925. And this will be at the fairgrounds. If anybody's interested in attending, there's the barcode. You can just, or what is that called? QR code?
QR code.
There we go. I'm going to catch up with this. QR, told you. I'm back in 1925. Anyway, you can scan that and you can actually sign up to attend with us. It's going to be an amazing event. We're going to have people from all over California and beyond come and join us on this cool event. So that's pretty much what I have for you today.
Excellent.
Any questions? I can make it up.
Thank you.
If you have any questions?
Awesome. Thanks for everything the Rotary does. And
Awesome.
yes, did,
Great. Absolutely. Come on up and introduce yourself.
Thank you, Madam President.
I think most of you know me. I'm with the Police Department Volunteers, Chief, and Madam Mayor and fellow board members and our wonderful staff of Lake County, Lakeport City. Each of us leave a legacy in the things that we accomplish in our lives. And Paul Harris was the founder of Rotary. This month, on the 19th, we'll be celebrating his 157th birthday. Even though he might be still getting a Social Security check, I don't know. But it's just an example of what we as individuals can start internationally that affects all of us in service above selves and giving. So we're very proud to be associated with Paul Harris, the one that started this organization that is given us each an opportunity to serve our communities and to serve our international thing. So I just wanted to share that with you. Thank you, Madam President, for letting me speak.
inspiring.
Just for clarity, Paul Harris is the one that started the Polio Plus program. So he's the one that's actually really done some great things. Anybody else have anything you'd like to add?
I have a
All the way down.
Pam, I have a comment. I appreciate all that Rotary does, and I know you guys have obviously the organization has been around for a long time. What is your guys' plan to try to recruit or keep your membership growing and alive and passionate? Because there will be a changing of the guards, and there'll be a few that will want to run out of steam, and I just would hate to see something with this much of an impact not have the volunteer network that it would require to keep it going. So I would hope. I'm just curious if you guys have anything in the future that will help keep this alive and recruit people.
Council Price, I appreciate that endorsement of a recruitment process, and we would welcome you to join. So I thank you for being our next.
Oh my God. But as the grand scheme of things, I mean,
Honestly,
I've been questioned by a few Rotarians.
Have
who,
you?
yes, in a good way.
We're right.
So, but I'm just one person, but I would hope that, it is a contagious, opportunity, and what you guys do is really good. So I just,
I appreciate that. And you're actually right. So Faith Hornby is going to be our next president in July. And I think we sent her to PETS, which is president-elect training. I didn't drop that, by the way. And she was the youngest one. And it was like probably 500 people there. And she was the youngest one. So you're right. We're getting older, and I'm not 100 years old yet, but we are getting older, and we do need some young blood in there. And so, come on in. The water's fine. We'd love to have all of you join us. And so we definitely need to be looking at bringing in some younger people. I think younger people now, well, I sound like an old person now when I say that, but people are busy with their families and lives and stuff like that. And I don't know that our next generation are getting involved in clubs like we did. And that's unfortunate. But I think that one of my plans and one of the things that I've been working on is actually expanding on what I call the Friends of Rotary. And so many of you may get emails from me because I click on a box in our email system called Friends of Rotary. And so if you ever want to be a part of that, please let me know. I'd love to invite either one of you to come on in, join us for lunch, check it out. And even if you just want to get an email. Awesome. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Pam.
thank you.
You bet. She wants to get a picture.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is from the city manager. It is the Blue Ribbon Committee for the Rehabilitation of Clear Lake. And there will be a slideshow presented on the Blue Ribbon's activities tonight.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. I was going to pass that honor over to Wilda Schock. She has been a member attending several of the meetings of the Blue Ribbon Committee, and I believe you're still a member of the Economic Subdivision, Economic.
I'm member of the Blue Ribbon Committee and co-chair of the Socioeconomic Subcommittee.
Perfect. There we go. See, I told you she could do better at this than I.
And yes, attending meetings since
Always could be Sam.
2018 when we started. So just very briefly, Sam McGill is the facilitator for the Blue Ribbon Committee and the two subcommittees. There's a technical subcommittee and the socioeconomic subcommittee. So we meet quarterly for the large group, which has a large representation, and in these slides, you'll see the members. And then there are the two subcommittees that meet monthly, as long as we have business coming before us. So it's a very active and engaged group. Right now, we're waiting for funding to be approved for more projects to get underway. And Sam's going to tell you about some of those and also talk about the Proposition 4 process for identifying projects and prioritization of them, as well as the funding stream with all of the Prop 4 money. So I'm going to turn it over to Sam.
Right. Thank you, Mayor Costa, members of the City Council and staff for this invitation to join you today. I'm really excited to provide some updates on the Blue Ribbon Committee. As Wilda said, this effort's been in place since 2018, and we have largely the original membership. Everybody's a volunteer on the group and has dedicated hours and hours of time and made some really exciting progress. Before I get into my really brief presentation, though, I want to introduce online Eric Sklar. Eric is the chairman of the Blue Ribbon Committee and a member of the California State Fish and Game Commission. And if Eric is available, I think he just wanted to introduce himself and make a quick hello to all of you.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Great. Well, thank you, and thank you for having us tonight. I just want to, say hello, let you know that the Blue Ribbon Committee is deeply committed to the restoration of Clear Lake. The committee was established by our Assemblywoman, Aguirre Curry, along with funding to get us going. Sam has done a brilliant job of leading that committee as a facilitator and keeping things going. And we have an incredible group of people on the committee who, as was mentioned, devote an enormous amount of time to the effort at no pay. And we've come up with, over the, as Sam will talk about, real answers to how we can address the challenges of the lake, and with the success of Prop 4, see some real opportunities to start doing projects in the lake and improve water quality, which we all know will be a real boon to the whole county on so many levels. So I want to thank the council for having us here tonight, and leave it over to Sam to talk about the committee's work.
All right. Thank you, Eric. So I have just a very few slides. Mostly I wanted to be here to answer any questions that you have about the process. I think I have 5 slides, though, that I wanted to run through real quickly. I know some of you have been involved in some of the meetings in the past and are aware of the committee. Just real quickly on its overall background and purpose. Eric already mentioned it was established by AB 707 by now Assembly Majority Leader Aguirre Curry in 2017. And really, since the outset, the committee has really been focused on water quality and environmental conditions in the lake that negatively impact public health, environmental, and the socioeconomic welfare of Lake County. And importantly, it requires the committee to develop detailed recommendations to clean up the lake for both environmental gains, but also for issues impacting the economy and culture of Clear Lake, not the least of which are recreation and cultural uses by all of the 7 federally recognized tribes that you have around the lake. Each year, we produce an annual report to the legislature and governor. It's really just kind of a recap of the activities that the committee has gone through over the last year. There's not new material that all of a sudden comes to light at the last minute. It's more of a summary of the committee's activities. Wilda already mentioned, we launched the committee itself in the 2018, and we now have 7 annual reports that are posted to the committee's website. Let me run through real quickly who actually sits on the committee. The goal here was to have as broad an array of expertise and input as possible. The committee membership is actually set out in the legislation and includes all 7 federally recognized tribes in Lake County, as well as a number of seats appointed by the Lake County Board of Supervisors. So there's 1 member of the Board of Supervisors that's currently new Supervisor Brad Rasmussen. Local economic development, filled by Wilda, who has been one of the most dedicated committee members that we have. A seat for agriculture, an environmental specialist, and public water supplier. There's also 2 additional seats at the state level, 1 filled by UC Davis and 1 by a member of the, staff member from the Central Valley Regional Water Quality Control Board. You can see up on the screen here the current committee membership. You already met Chair Sklar. I won't read through each one of these, but I will just note almost all of these folks have been on the committee since 2018. So again, just a huge thanks for their dedication of time. We do currently have 1 vacant seat from Elam Indian Colony that we're still seeking to fill. A few basics about the committee. I think Wilda already ran through a lot of this, but we meet 4 times a year, generally here in Lake County. And I'd really like to thank City Manager Ingram for offering the council chambers for a number of those meetings. We tend to meet either at this end of the lake or down in Clear Lake, but we're trying to rotate as much as possible to ensure that folks can join our meetings in person if they would like to. Wilda mentioned there are 2 subcommittees for the group. Including both a technical group that's really focused on lake science issues and another that Wilda co-chairs on socioeconomic issues. And just a quick reminder that although the full committee membership is set in state statute, the subcommittee meetings are open to anybody who's interested, and I'll run through the schedule for those in a little bit. We have, despite the committee happening, one thing that I continuously hear is that many members of the public and even some of the jurisdictions around the state aren't aware of the Blue Ribbon Committee's activities. So I just want to remind everybody, all of our meetings are open to the public. We're subject to State Bagley-Keene, the State Bagley-Keene Act, much like the Brown Act at the local level, and make sure that those are noticed on the website, and then also a listserv and a variety of other things I'll walk you through on how you can sign up for if you're interested in learning a bit more. The committee serves as an advisory body to the California Natural Resources Agency. We fit within under the umbrella with all of the other departments in CNRA. And the goal is really work to develop collaborative solutions to address a range of environmental challenges. I want to focus in on that word collaborative. For all the recommendations that have been approved to seek funding that I'll get to in just a moment, nearly every single one of those represents total consensus on behalf of all 15 of the members of the committee. So we've really strived to make sure that whatever is being proposed to the committee and whatever the committee ends up recommending for primarily state funding at this point, that there's as close to total agreement as possible. That's kind of been a cornerstone of all of our deliberations since the start, and we fully expect that to continue in the future. Committee members review proposals and make recommendations for funding. As you're all aware, a recommendation for funding to the state does not mean that that funding will happen, but we have a really good track record so far. And there's some additional new funding mechanisms that are coming online that we expect to utilize as much as possible in the near future here. So far, most of the awards that the committee for proposals that the committee has recommended for funding have been funded either through the State of California General Fund or previously Proposition 68. Those funds all sunset this year, but luckily voters decided to approve Proposition 4 in the November election. All right, so more interesting things. To date, proposals recommended by the committee have resulted in over $13 million in direct awards to public agencies, tribes, tribal organizations, academia, and community organizations. In 2023, the committee recommended another $14 million in projects for a range of restoration, research, and mitigation projects. As everybody is aware, the state faced a significant budget deficit this year, and we're still seeking funding for those additional projects, but we're hopeful that either through the general fund or some of the Proposition 4 money that we might be able to get some of those moving as quickly as possible. And I already mentioned that all proposals have been recommended by unanimous or very close to it, unanimous agreement among all the committee members. So the actual things that have happened and are currently being implemented. There's a very long list here. I'm not going to walk through each one of them. The thing I just want to point out again, $13 million in state funding has been allocated for projects to date. Most of these are focused on two primary things. One is deepening an understanding of some of the issues that are leading to challenges such as harmful algal blooms around the lake. There's a dedicated team of state researchers, as well as folks both in this room and on the committee that have participated in those. UC Davis and USGS, the US Geological Survey, have led many of those efforts, and that recently resulted in sort of a first of its kind model, hydrologic model of the state to understand where things like nutrients like phosphorus that lead to harmful algal blooms are entering the system and what happens once they actually get in the lake. We expect that to be a really powerful tool moving forward that a lot of other proposals can kind of be weighed against to see if they're actually meeting their goals. It's not just research, though. There's a lot of actual on-the-ground restoration that's been happening as well. And in particular, I want to point out the work of the Lake County Water Resources Department and a number of the tribes for their work around things like tule restoration that have happened around the lake, as well as trash cleanup, the Lake County Trash Cleanup, and I'm going to mess up the entire name, spill response, and trash remediation was also funded through a recommendation that was brought to the Blue Ribbon Committee. There's a number of other projects that appear on this list that are currently funded. We're still waiting to actually implement them. There are, of course, things like permitting and environmental review that still need to happen for some of the larger items. But it's just exciting to see that this group has resulted in some real specific on-the-ground activities. Looking forward, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, the Blue Ribbon Committee also approved a lot of projects that we're still seeking funding for. These are, I think it's probably fair to say, almost an order of magnitude larger than the other ones and focused entirely on large-scale solutions to harmful algal bloom production throughout the state. There's a number of pilot projects that have been proposed by a variety of organizations from around the state and country on those. There's also UC Davis has proposed the development of an early warning system for HABs. The goal of that one is to inform local jurisdictions when a HAB is very likely to occur to make any changes to water supply treatment or beach closures if you needed to make those so that you know in advance and aren't caught off guard by any of them. Several other research projects, but most of it is focused on actual restoration and mitigation. One thing I wanted to point out, very recently, as the state continues its budget negotiations going into the early summer of this year, your Assembly member and Assembly Majority Leader Aguilar Curry did recently send a request for funding of all of those projects to the budget chair of the State Assembly. We're really hoping to get good news on that, but those negotiations will continue over the next couple of months, and then by the end of June, we should know whether or not that very significant chunk of money that I just walked through is actually going to be included in the budget. It would be wonderful if it did. That takes pressure off any of the funding available in Proposition 4 that I'll run through in just a moment. Many of you are probably aware that Proposition 4 that was passed in the November 2024 election included $20 million in direct funding for Clear Lake and Clear Lake projects. That was hard fought again by your Assembly member, and really can't thank her enough for all of her activities in getting this brought up to the statewide level. But in addition to that 20 million in very specific Clear Lake watershed and climate resilience funding, there's also $350 million available for watershed restoration specifically. So that's throughout the entire bond. There's a number of different programs that can be utilized for larger projects moving forward. And very importantly, and a little bit different than some of the past general obligation bonds that have been passed, at the state level, 40% of the total amount is set aside for disadvantaged communities, and at least 10% of the total is set aside for severely disadvantaged communities. Lake County has kind of a unique opportunity to tap into some of those funding, some of that funding that other areas might not be able to. Proposition 4 also allows state departments to advance funds. So even if grant agreements aren't finished, aren't complete yet, the state departments may have the opportunity to advance funds to do some of the pre-planning and things that are such a heavy lift for, for rural counties and smaller jurisdictions. Restoration on private property is also allowed under this. One of the things that we keep hearing over and over again for things like Thule restoration, shoreline restoration is, so much of that is privately owned, and oftentimes public funds can't be used for restoration on private property. That's not the case with Prop 4. Restoration can happen with private landowners, but it would of course require, the California Natural Resources Agency's council approval. This money can also be used to fund private property acquisition by willing sellers. It doesn't mean that, the Blue Ribbon Committee isn't looking to go chase down and find a bunch of property, but there are identified areas where restoration may be a very, very good option. And if some of those sellers were willing, some of this funding could be used for that. And then just a final note, the Natural Resources Agency is going to be in charge of distributing a lot of this funding. They're really relying on the Blue Ribbon Committee to help guide where that funding should go and which types of proposals should move forward. It doesn't mean that the Blue Ribbon Committee is the only voice in that discussion, but it is one that's going to be relied on. So I just encourage everybody, if you have questions about the committee process, if you're interested in getting more involved, just reach out to us and we'll make sure that you're plugged in. And I'm always happy, as I know Eric is as well, to provide updates to the city council here and in other areas around the lake. So that's kind of what I have for you. Our contact information is up there on the screen, including Eric's at the top, mine, the committee website, our committee listserv. The listserv is really important. That's how we tend to send out most of our meeting notices and materials, and I certainly encourage folks to sign up if possible. And then we have a Facebook page as well. For the most part, we've been using that just for meeting notices, but I'm also happy to post anything else about other community organizations and events that have kind of parallels and a lot of connections with the work that the Blue Ribbon Committee is doing. So that's what I have for you, but I'd love to hear any questions, and hopefully if I can't answer them tonight, I'll make sure to get you an answer as quickly as possible. So thank you again.
Thank you, council. Any questions?
Well, I want to just commend you and the Blue Ribbon Committee, excuse me, for the work that you guys do. And I am really looking forward to seeing more progress. I have just a pretty easy question, which is the AB 707. $14 million approximately have already been allocated, and we're requesting another 14 million. What's that total pot available?
So 13 million has been allocated. Some of the contracts aren't finalized for some of those, but the money has been dedicated to them. So that's money that actually does exist. It is spent. There's also been a number of projects totaling 14 million that the committee has recommended to seek funding. That is still very much up in the air. But for the money that actually has been allocated, the two primary funding buckets were Prop 68, passed by voters, I believe, 8 years ago now, and the state general fund. So a number of those projects were written directly into the California state budget.
So let's say that the 14 million that's requested, all of that's approved. Big win.
Yeah.
Is that it? Is there any future potential projects?
There absolutely is. When the committee started, one of the questions that kept coming up was, is this just something that's going to be around for a year or a few months? That is not the goal. This is, it is established as a permanent committee at this point. So we, as long as Lake County still wants the support, the state has made that commitment.
Great.
That we'll keep going.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I feel like there's always a little bit of interest in the lake and it kind of fizzles out over time. So to hear this level of commitment from the state is really reassuring and exciting.
Yeah.
And one other quick question is the 40% that's set aside from Prop 4 now for the disadvantaged communities and 10%. That is part of the 350 million available for the watershed. That's not the 20 million that's the direct funding, right?
That's exactly right. The 20 million is an actual set aside that's written directly into the bond language itself. And there's more. I should note the 350 million is only the portion of the bond focused on watershed restoration. There's also a lot of other things that I know are near and dear to Lake County's heart. Most of it is around wildfire resilience, climate resilience, and those sorts of things. So the 350 million is really just focused on that's kind of the BRC's, the Blue Ribbon Committee's purview. But
Got it.
yeah.
And then last one is, I know, too many. That 40% set aside, or I guess the 350 million for the watershed restoration, is that something that the county as a whole at the Board of Supervisors level should be going after? Is that the Blue Ribbon Committee specific? What's the best way to try to tap into this pot?
I wish that we had some of the actual staff from the California Natural Resources Agency from their bond unit to speak to that. But that is most certainly open to anybody who's interested in applying. And the county, I should say, at least in the last several years, the county's been very aggressively pursuing any grant opportunities. So, yeah.
Great. That's it for my questions. Thank you, Sam.
I don't have any questions. Good questions, though.
So is there, do we have questions or comments from anyone in the public in the room? How about online, Mel?
No hands raised online.
All right. Well, final comment is just, I agree. It's just awesome to see the energy that has been sustained and gone into this and the tangible benefits that our county is receiving from that. So thanks for all that good work and the presentation.
Of course, thank you. And just a final pitch, anytime you'd like updates again, please don't hesitate to ask. I know Wilda asked me to present at this one, but we're always available.
Yeah, I'm really happy to get an update. I can't believe how many years have gone by already.
I know.
It's sort of shocking, but a lot of good work's been done. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Great. Thanks, Sam.
Take care.
We had a pretty short agenda since we're not taking up the Parkside matter. Looks like we're at City Council communications already. Start with Joey.
Nothing to report tonight.
Chief?
Yeah, actually, just for the sake of public meeting, I want to announce that unfortunately our crisis responder, Alicia Adams, has resigned from Lake Family Resource Center. Fortunately for her, she'll be taking on a role with the Lake County Behavioral Health, but nonetheless, that does leave a vacancy in a rather positive project that we had going on. We're currently looking at some funding options and looking in a direction to replace that the best that we can. So.
That's hard news. Yeah. All right, thank you. Paul Harris, Utilities Director.
I have no report. Thank you.
Kelly Buendia, Administrative Services Director.
No report.
All right. Ron Ladd, Public Works Director.
Thank you, Mayor Costa. I have nothing to report.
I think this is the hardest part of the meeting is getting all the titles sort of right. You guys are the two first ones, so I'm not really, I didn't have it going when I got to your name. So you were just Joey. Sorry about that.
Just Joey.
Mel, you have a long title. I can't remember it. It's
GIS Asset Management Technician.
okay. Mel, the GIS dude. What you got?
That works perfect. Nothing to report, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mackenzie Anderson, not the city council, the assistant city council, deputy city council. Thank you very much.
Mackenzie works fine.
Okay.
My only report would be that David Ruderman will be covering the next council meeting and I'll be returning for May.
Great. Thank you. Kevin Ingram, city manager. That one's easy.
Councilmember Matina and I both attended the Cal City's policy committee meetings in Burbank last week. I was on Rev and Tax, and then I'll let Councilmember Martina talk about her own committee. The only thing I think probably worth sharing, well, there's many things worth sharing, but I think the big one that's worth noting here is Cal Cities was very concerned that the governor's budget did not include any funding related to the Prop 36, a proposition recently approved by overwhelmingly by the California voters in regards to trying to address some of the kind of petty crime aspects and not being able to make arrests and other things on some lower misdemeanor crimes that were identified. We've had several reports as being very important to our community. Was very happy to hear that Cal Cities is working very closely with the Senate in regards to their budget, kind of rebuttal of the governors there to look at different ways of trying to streamline that important provision. So I would expect that we'll likely have some items in the future kind of supporting some of those efforts as they take fruition. I think that's all that I have this evening.
Councilmember Martina.
So yeah, I'll add to that. I attended my Housing, Community, and Economic Development Committee for Cal Cities. They gave us a legislative update first, and it's worth noting that there's 2,600 new bills introduced. I'm not sure how we could possibly need 2,600 new bills. Obviously, a lot of those will die. There's 37 new members, so I'm sure it gets interesting. There's 16 bills that are sponsored by Cal Cities. In my housing, well, and I should mention a ton of it is housing and ministerial approval type things where, you can just do whatever you want. Let's see. Well, two of them that we reviewed, AB 306 puts a pause on building regulations. We did approve that, vote to approve it. It was kind of to help with the rebuilding after the fires down south so that the contractors, developers can move forward with plans and not get interrupted by new building codes. So hopefully that'll be helpful. And then AB 87 is regarding density bonus and what density bonus is actually for senior housing or low income housing. There's a developer in San Diego that's putting up, you guys just have to hear this. Proposed 22-story mixed-use tower with a height limit of 239 feet was proposed by a developer who cited the density bonus law as the reason the project could be built nearly 8 times the local height limit. It includes 213 units, 74 apartments, 139 hotel rooms, and 10 units for low and middle income families. So just a bizarre, it's kind of their interpretation, but it's kind of in line with some of those, some of that legislation. It's just over the top. So that's the latest, and we'll keep fighting.
Thank you. Pro Tem Disney
I have no report tonight. Thank you.
and Councilmember Price.
A couple updates. LMSA hosted their first spring mixer last week with RSA. They are a new civil engineering company located here on Main Street. I was not able to attend, but I heard it was a good turnout. And then also for the vacancy for the Lakeport Fire Department, they held their interviews last week. And it was brought to my attention that the recommended candidate withdrew from further consideration last night, so that there's discussion for them to revisit that because they want to fill the vacancy, and so since they wanted the person who they wanted does not want the position, they will discuss whether they will move on to the person in second position or if they will reopen the application process. So I will follow up on that. I think those are my two notes to bring up, so that's it.
Thank you. And I also have no report. So that takes us to the last item, which is closed session. There was a conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, Government Code Section 54956.9D1. The City Council finds, based on advice from legal counsel, that discussion in open session will prejudice the position of the local agency in the litigation. The name of the case is the City of Lakeport et al. Versus Amerisource Bergen Drug Corporation et al. Names of the parties: plaintiff, City of Lakeport; defendants, Amerisource Bergen Drug Corporation et al. Full list of defendants available upon request with the city clerk. Case number NDOMDL 1:0-0P-45242-DAP. So we'll break for, well,
Ask for comments.
oh, thank you. So do we have comments from anyone, any public comment on this? Anyone in the room? Anyone online, Mel?
No hands raised on them.
Thank you. So we will go ahead into closed session and come back, report out if we have anything